Good evening and welcome to Sovereign Body Language. Today we're going to be talking about chakras, and I have a very big announcement for you guys. I changed my mind about how I'm going to hold the classes next year. So I was invited to today, this morning, I got an invite to be speaking on the Nights of the Storm sometime in its near future. And that got me thinking that we have classes scheduled for starting January 15th, but I have a conference I'm going to where I'm going to be promoting these classes in March. So after thinking about, interviews and things like that, I decided to postpone the paid classes until March 19th. So what that means for you is that I will continue to meet you every Thursday here, and we'll be doing face reading and body reading for free until March 19th. And so what we're going to do is I'm not going to be making you new manuals every week for the next few sessions, like the 6 manuals. You'll get a manual. The next session after this one is January 8th, and you still get a face reading manual, the second face reading manual for that session. After that, we're going to be using these 6 manuals that you received in these first 3 sessions to dive deeper into maybe looking at videos of people interacting with each other and interpreting their body language, maybe looking at photos and interpreting like relationships between people based on their body language, maybe face reading your friends and family. If you bring somebody, we can do face reading, like a photo or a person, either way. Maybe what we're going to do is look at the moon landing. And I don't mean the moon landing itself, but when the guys came back from the moon landing and they have that big interview and the press is asking them all the questions and about their body language, and we can sit down for one of those weeks. We'll sit down, we'll watch that video, and we'll analyze what's happening based on chakras and body language as these people are talking. What do you guys think of that? Does that sound good?
Yeah,
awesome.
excellent.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So, and that way sorry?
Yeah, I've seen that video several times with the astronauts, and they're not what they should be
Yeah,
portraying.
it's pretty easy to tell that they're not
But they
portraying
weren't.
their
They didn't go to the moon, period.
That is the question that we'll be exploring sometime in January. So, yeah. So if you guys have any good ideas or anything that you want to bring or anything that you'd like me to examine, I know that politics is different. Like in Europe, they have different politics than in North America. But yeah, just take a look. Sorry, Renee, I sent you the wrong link by accident because I was in the wrong meeting because Zoom is weird.
Thank you. No, I got the right one, and that was just fine. Thank you so much, making it easier for me.
Perfect.
Otherwise, I'm hunting all over the place. So
Perfect.
great. Glad to be here.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, I just announced, just to catch you up really quickly, that the free classes will actually go on until March 12th. The March 19th session will be the first paid session in this series. So, and then we'll push everything forward a couple months, which fits perfectly anyway. So today we're diving deep into, sorry, Renee, did you have a question?
No, just that it's going to be every Thursday from now until March.
No, it's going to be every Thursday from now until forever.
Oh, how fabulous.
But it's going to be every Thursday from now until March for free, where you can bring all your friends, and we're going to be doing different things. So the first 6 sessions, the first 6 intro sessions with the manuals, that's going to be like a standalone thing that you guys like, the basics. And then for the next several weeks, we're going to be diving deeper into face reading and body reading from videos and like political debates and photos and different things.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I'm sending the manual over again because I know Zoom doesn't let you see what happened before. So there's the manual for you. And of course, as always, the manual gets attached to the email with the 2 replays. So when you guys get the replay, you get the replay from the European one, like the noon one, or my noon, European 7 p.m. and this one. So you get the 2 replays and the thing. And I don't know, I don't teach the same every class. So yeah, I don't teach the same every class. So actually, if you watch the two different replays, the teachings are somewhat different and there's different examples and things. So people say they like it. So, okay. Any questions before we dive into chakras? How many chakras are there? It's a trick question. Maybe. Anybody has a different answer than 7?
I do. I heard that there's like a lot more than we think there are.
Okay. Tell me how many.
I don't know. I heard like 100.
Both you and Celia. Well, actually, all of you guys are right. There are 7 main chakras in the human body, which are inside the body, the electromagnetic centers inside the body. There are 12 chakras in the auric body. So in the non-physical, we have more chakras. And there are many other chakras on the body that are minor chakras. Like we have a chakra at the back of our head, which is the eyes at the back of your head. And it's right in the space of the Akashic records. So it's right on the back of your head where you want or expect the eyes on the back of your head to be. We have hands chakras and foot chakras right in the middle of your hands where the Jesus spots are, which I always thought was weird. Like, how did they know all those years ago to put the nails right through his hand and foot chakras? Because that's exactly what that happened. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Right? So, but yeah. And so the chakra system is not on the physical. If you guys have any questions, let me know. But the chakra system is not on the physical, it's an electromagnetic. So you have a physical body that, like the part that you can touch, the physical body. And then you have an energetic body, an electromagnetic body, which is your aura. All the chakras are in that electromagnetic body. And that electromagnetic body can actually leave your physical body and be separate from your physical body and still exist, right? And we know that from Bob Monroe, astral travel, where, where the body, the astral travel, the soul leaves the body. But it gets even more complicated. I don't want to jump ahead. Let me do it in order. Okay, electromagnetic system, I said that. And so the aura, so I don't know, I've talked about this before, but the aura, so there are 2 cords attached to your body. And we'll talk about these cords today quite a bit more. But there's one cord that's a silver cord that's attached from the inside of your body to the earth. And I was trying to envision it today. Is it the center of the earth, or is it just the surface of the earth? But then if it's the surface of the earth, how does it stay attached when we're walking around places? Because there's a chakra that's below your body called the earth something chakra. It'll come up. I knew this earlier today. But there's a chakra below your body and it's in the earth. So as you're standing on the earth, that chakra is underneath your feet. So how does it follow you when you walk around? So, or maybe the auric egg just goes into the earth, and everywhere you go, you're reaching into the earth with your spiritual body. And there is also a golden cord that attaches to the top of your head, to your crown chakra, and then attaches to upstairs, wherever that is, whatever that is. I always imagine upstairs as a big pool of golden, luminescent water, of which I am but one drop, but the whole pool is God. So that way, that golden cord, in my belief system, would be attached to the drop of water that I am upstairs. And that most of the drop of water is still upstairs with God and with all the, stuff upstairs, whatever's upstairs. We don't know. But that one little golden cord attaches to your body and follows you wherever you go. And it's your connection with your higher self. And also with the higher chakras, there's more chakras. Hang on, let me just grab this visual here. Oh, I have to show you guys this cute little picture I got. I know you'll see it in the manual, but I still have to show you. Wait, which screen? No, is that the right screen? Hang on, let me try this again. I don't know what I was sharing. Okay, so look at that picture. Isn't that cool? That's showing like almost like the auric body. But the thing with the auric body is that It's a different size for everybody. Some people can have the aura. Oops, I didn't do that. Some people can have aura that's really tight to their body, and some people can have a huge aura. They say that Mother Teresa or Jesus auras were really, really big, like blocks. So then when they were standing in a certain spot, they would be touching people blocks away with their aura, or maybe enveloping, or, being on top of them or around them somehow. That's an interesting consideration, right? So then, hang on, let me just find this.
That's just
Oh, so
absolutely gorgeous.
the picture, yeah, I thought it was nice.
Well, yes, because to me, it's showing it's like the ethereal and the astral, and I mean, it's just magnificent. Wow.
Yeah, and it's and
Yeah.
it's got all the chakras around it, but more than just the chakras that we know. Well, I mean, I think these are not actual chakra symbols, but we can imagine there being all of these chakras. Some people say there are 14 chakras. Some people say there are 12 chakras in the pillar, because there's of course other chakras, the hands and that's maybe, I don't know how many there are. There's a lot of conflicting information. But then there's also the nadis. So whereas the chakras are the centers of power that we're going to talk about a lot more today, there's more visuals about that. The nadis are the pillar of light. Remember, we talked about the pillar of light last week? Let me show you the picture. Oh, there we go. There's the picture. So the nadis are like the energy, like the silver cord. And look, they drew it in blue and yellow. So the silver would be blue and attached to the ground, and the golden would be attaching to the upstairs, right? And I don't really know if this is exactly how it is, because the way I've envisioned it is that these two channels are actually spiraling around each other like DNA, rather than just running next to each other as two rivers. But this is just a visual representation that they go up and down along the spine, and that is the central channel is what we were calling the pillar of light, where your soul is seated all throughout the body. So that's another visual representation, and this one also has the chakras in it. But oh my gosh, I have so many pictures of chakras for you guys today. You're going to be so impressed. So, oops, that's too small. Okay, so let's go from the bottom, because this picture doesn't fit in the screen. So this is the connection to the earth star. That's what it was. That's why I couldn't remember it. Who calls a chakra earth star? Stars are up there, earth is down here. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, we got an earth star chakra right here below your feet. So as you walk around the earth, your energy goes underground into the earth. So you essentially, like, maybe that's like how we're like a plant, we have a little root everywhere we go. We move, but we still have the root. And then we have the seven chakras that Travis was talking about. These are the seven main chakras, from root all the way to crown. And then we have all of these chakras that connect us to the divine. And the divine gateway chakra is, according to this system, the last chakra that connects us to God. And so when you're conversing or talking to other people who are in the same universe, but you're not speaking to them in physical, you can converse through your higher self by sending messages or thoughts or, blessings or whatever. Well, we have to talk about that word. We're going to have a class about words and their replacements, but like care and love that you send to these people, you can do that through the higher chakras. You don't have to do it verbally. You don't have to actually phone the person. If the person is mad at you and not speaking to you, they've blocked you and everything, that's totally fine. You can still talk to them on the energetic level, and they'll hear you on some level. They might not listen, but they'll hear you. So then I wrote it all out for you guys. We have the 7 primary, then we have those secondary, then we have the earth star chakra and the higher chakras. Oh yeah, and the secondary chakras, those are the hands and the feet, as we mentioned. Oh, and the thymus, that's the one I haven't. Let me stop sharing. Okay, so the thymus chakra is an additional chakra, one of the minor chakras that's right here. So it's halfway between your heart and your throat. So this would be your throat chakra, and this would be or mine. This would be my throat chakra, and this would be my heart chakra. And about halfway, if you guys touch your chest, there's like that little bony protrusion there. I want to see everybody touch their chest. There you go. That's how we do it in psychosomatic therapy. Somatic learning, we touch it. Okay, so you see that little bony protrusion. That's the thymus. There's a thymus gland in there somewhere, but it's also the seat of the inner child. So this chakra is actually the gateway between you and manifestation, creating your reality. If you keep your inner child happy, you can open the doors to creating and manifesting whatever you want. So this is the place. This is, you want to kind of not spoil to make it despotic, but spoil to make it happy, your inner child. Because when your inner child's vibrating at a high frequency, then everything becomes easier in the world. And also, if your inner child's vibrating at a lower frequency, you can start to hear some voices in your head that tell you you're not good enough, and you should kill yourself, and you suck, and nobody will ever understand you. You'll forever be alone. And those sentences, I'm just making them up. I'm not making them up. There was a part of study in Germany that interviewed like hundreds of people. Every single person, when they tuned into what I call the demon network, had the same thoughts in every language, in every country. It was always the same shit. It was, you're not good enough. Nobody will ever understand you. You should kill yourself. You suck. You're the worst person in the world. Everybody's better than you. All that, it's the same. It's a program that's running through all our minds. And there's a lot of dispute where that program's coming from. Maybe it's coming from Saturn. Maybe it's coming from the moon. Maybe it's coming from the corner of your room because there is an entity sitting there feeding you bullshit. The point is, wherever it's coming from, when you start hearing those kind of thoughts, you have to realize it's not you. It's not your inner critic. It's not your inner nothing. And if you really stop yourself and think about it, you'll realize that the voice is not your voice. Most of your thoughts is like, oh, I have to make tea. Oh, look, my tea's getting cold. All of that, that's my voice. That's my voice speaking in my head. When my vibration dips to the point where I can hear the voice, it's not my voice. It's something that sounds like from a movie. Like if you really tune into it and think about it, it sounds like from a movie. Oh, come on. You're not good enough. You know that. And it's this very insidious thing that can happen inside your brain. But the one thing you have to remember, if it's not your voice, it's not for you. So goodbye. And also, if your vibration is higher than a certain level, you can't hear the voices. So it's up to you. And I mean, I'm not saying that like, oh yeah, I'm happy all the time. I live in a tropical country. Everything is great. No. Like, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, it is my responsibility to take care of my inner child as a mother would. It is my responsibility every time the inner child's having a meltdown to hold it and pat its back, right? Until it feels better. And if you think about it, like this is something that they do in EFT as well, right? Doing this kind of tapping. But you don't have to do all the EFT tapping. You can just tap here. And it's not going to work the same as EFT because it's not the same technique, but it is a soothing technique. And if you had a physical baby on your chest, you would be tapping his back just the same, or her, right? So it would be the same kind of movement. This is for self-soothing versus soothing an external baby. Any questions about the demon network?
I've definitely heard the demon's voices, but I never realized it wasn't my own voice. Now I have to listen for a differentiation.
I remember it, like I realized it one day because like I didn't hear it very much. And then I moved to Quebec and I was really depressed. So I was more susceptible to these kind of energies, right? And I remember standing there in my living room looking at my ex thinking, oh my God, this guy will never understand you. He'll never get you. You're all by yourself. There's no one in Quebec that loves you. You're going to die in -30. You're going to die in the street under this bridge and all this stuff, right? And it's like, you'll always be alone. This is how it's always going to be. That's one of the things they're saying. That's one of the key things that they're saying, that whenever you're depressed or sad, the voices in your head give you the impression that this is how it is now. It's how it's always going to be. Instead of what your inner mom should be saying, is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. How many times have we felt this way? Chill the fuck out. You know, it's going to be okay. There, baby. You know, and giving yourself, but the voices, they want you to be mean to you. They want you to be critical. They want you to like beat yourself up, you know? And then the question becomes this. So if your aura is made out of gold, and the harvest thing that the, you know, legends, whatever, that everybody is after is gold. Like, what if it's the gold of your aura that they're after? And what if all the negative feelings and emotions and thoughts are the thing that is actually the currency of harvesting, right? So there's some entity in the world that's wanting us to all be unhappy and fight with each other and fearful and Monsters Inc. in real life kind of thing. And then we are falling for it by beating ourselves up, by listening to this demon network that's in our head. The demon voice in my head will talk to me in the language I'm answering the question from the chat. In the language I'm currently thinking in. I don't think in French because I've never mastered it and I don't think in Spanish either. Maybe very rarely, I'm starting to, but like not really. So it'd be either Polish or English that they would be speaking to me in, because those are the most common languages I think in. And I think in the language of whom I'm thinking about. Just linguistics. If I'm thinking about Renee, I'll be thinking in English. If I'm thinking about my mother, I'll be thinking in Polish. Unless my mother and I are going to an event where other friends are going to be, then I might be thinking about that in English. It's contextual.
Well, I think it takes a long time to stop thinking in the mother tongue.
But I remember transitioning to thinking in English. Like, before I didn't know how to think in English. I always thought in Polish and everything was translated. And it's a lot less effort when you're hanging out in a specific language to be thinking in that language you're speaking. But my Spanish is just not proficient enough for me to be thinking in it.
And you know
Maybe
what happened is that the numbers stayed in Spanish for the longest time.
The numbers will stay in your mother tongue for a long time. Yeah.
It was amazing because I knew I was thinking in English, but the numbers were in Spanish. It's like, how is that possible?
Yeah, that's what happens. Okay, I'm looking. Oh, I have this great visual. You're going to love this, Renee. Check this out. This is from Herman's book. So this is a Herman visual. And it shows you the same chakras we were talking about, but this time it shows you the areas that they affect. Now, there's a lot more to the chakras and body reading than just, the chakra, the dot on the body. Like, earlier we were looking at dots on the body. Yes, this is look at the picture, right? They're showing you that each chakra looks like a wheel. Do you see that? Because each chakra is a spinning vortex of electromagnetic energy. So that's why it's represented as wheels. But those are the centers where the wheel center is. But the actual chakra, the energy of it affects a lot more. And then when we go to the Herman diagram, this is the areas that each chakra affects. Now I have to zoom in for this because this is tricky part. If you look at the sacral and the root chakra, so the root chakra is red and the sacral is orange. But if you guys see my mouse here? Okay, so you see the line goes here, and it doesn't include the inner thighs. The inner thighs are still sacral. So the root chakra, even though the actual seat of the root chakra is at the bottom of your sitting bones, so as you sit on a rock, the two bones that touch the rock that might get sore after a while, that's where the root chakra is. The actual area around your genitals and the inner part of the inner thighs, that's sacral. So that's your sexual, sensual, creative, waters of creation energy. So there's a difference between, and then if you look on the side view, the root chakra actually takes over the whole buttock. So the line is on an angle like this. Like this. Like where the way the drawing is holding its hand, that's what the line goes. So the whole of the buttock is the root chakra, but all of the front and all the, you know, reproductive and some of the lower intestine are sacral chakra.
Are the
And then if
knees solar plexus?
what? The
Is
knees
the-
are solar plexus. The knees and elbows are solar plexus. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And the ankles. See? And the elbows. And then the reason why the feet are purple is because the feet contain all the chakras in them. And so do the hands, and so does the face. So all the chakras repeat in the hands, in the face, and in the feet. And we'll go over that in a minute. Don't you worry. I got you. Okay, but let's look at these higher chakras first. So here we have solar plexus, and solar plexus is, I don't know if the lines are super exact in this model, because from what I know, the elbows are solar plexus, but all the area from the elbow, just above the elbow to the shoulder are heart chakra. And all the area just below the elbow to the wrist are sacral. So this is sacral, this is solar plexus, and this is heart. And I think that the throat chakra is a little bit, the boundary is a little bit lower than the drawing is, and it catches the top of the shoulders. So I know here the shoulders are green, but I think that the throat chakra has a little bit lower influence than that. But this is from Herman's book, so, you know, I'm just telling you all the theories. It's up to you guys to compare the theories, compare it with your own knowledge, and come up to your own conclusions, right? Just like, how many chakras are there? Some people say 7, some people say 12, some people say 14. I found a good diagram with 12, so I'm showing you 12. I'm sure you can dive deeper and find the other ones. Or maybe there's 37, who knows, right? But this is what I've learned so far. And so then we have the throat chakra. And so when we're thinking about the throat chakra, we think about the throat, the voice, right? But the other area that's sort of governed by the throat chakra, but not really, is your hands. Because when you're communicating, communicate with your mouth and you communicate with your hands. So not as the chakras in the hands, but as the avenue of communication. And then when we think about the sacral chakra in the face, the sacral chakra is actually your whole mouth, even though you think that's throat, but no, because the sacral chakra is water, and that's like womb, and you have your whole mouth with water inside it. That's the sacral chakra. That's the creation of the face. Because what do you create with your face? You create words and communication. So that's the sacral chakra right there. And then we have the third eye and the crown chakra that connects to the other chakras. Any questions about this diagram? Before I move on to deeper diving into chakras.
Maybe the back of the neck where it meets the head and the neck meet. What would you consider that? Like the meeting place. It looks like it's the meeting of the crown and the throat.
So it would be called the occipital lobe. It's where, if you touch the back of your head, where your skull protrudes out. You know how there's neck, and then it goes whoop.
Yep.
Whoop. So that's the edge of your occipital lobe, which is the back of your head. And the reason they're calling it occipital lobe, because occipital means related to the eye. Isn't that funny? So in anatomy, it's called the occipital lobe. And if you hit that part of your head, it can affect your eyeballs and your sight, because this is the seat of your sight in your brain. But it's also where the back of the head chakra is, that looks behind you. And so what does the chakra do? It's about how you process the past. So it's still governed by your crown chakra, as you can see by the diagram, but it's the eyes in the back of the head, and it's connected to your intuition. Well, maybe intuition is not the right word. Upstairs. Let's use the word upstairs. Everybody comfortable with the word upstairs? because I don't know what to call it, and everybody's spiritual system is different, but we all believe it upstairs. So yeah, so this would be the chakra that's like connected, and it can see through the eyes of the spirit, essentially.
Thank you.
I think most ladies know that they have a chakra in the back of their head because you get creeped out when somebody's looking at the back of you, and you can feel it as a tingling sensation, right? I don't know if men would be as sensitive or would be ogled as much, because it's like an ogling thing. If somebody's ogling you, I think women don't ogle men as often unless they're in a strip club or something. Okay, so we're going to go through all the chakras through my little manual, and we're going to examine each chakra in turn. So here we have the first chakra, the base or root, the vital force, survival, security, mobility, grounding to mother. And we know that the grounding to mother is really the Earth Star chakra, but like it's connected to it, and Earth's magnetic energy. So then body areas, so in the face is the jaw and the chin, but not the jaw up here, just the bottom of the jaw and the chin. In the feet is inside of the heels. In the hands is the mound at the base of the thumb right here. In the body is the buttocks, the thighs, and the calves, right? So the calves are still the root chakra. And the calves actually are very interesting in psychosomatic therapy because the calves talk about what happened to you in childhood. So looking at the calves and the ankles, you can sort of see how the person is processing energy in the early years and how they've managed their energy in the early years. Because, it's not what happens to you, it's how you deal with it, right? And I know that's totally a cliche, but that's really exactly what it is. And I can tell you an example if you remind me later. And then organs, glands, and nervous system, we have the pelvic plexus, coccyx, perineum, and kidneys. So, and the location is the perineum, which is the bottom of those two bones. The color is red, the sense of smell. So each of the 7 chakras has a different sense associated with it, a different element. And I mean, in the course, when we go deeper, there's like a planet, all sorts of things. But here we're just doing the basics. A little bit more than the basics, I guess. Elements, the earth, function, instinct, survival, security, and the mantra sound do. And as the chakras go through the rainbow, they also go through the vocal scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, right? So that's the do, the bottom sound. So then we have the second chakra, sacral or spleen. It's called they all have different names depending on where they're at. And I also included the actual name of it. And this one is intuition, creativity. So this one is the water chakra, so element water. And if you think about it, you can make a baby in that water, or you can birth an idea, you can birth a song or a painting or a new design or a plan. There's all of these things that are birthed in the waters of creation of your sacral chakra. So then we have in the face, it's the lips and the inside of the mouth. In the feet is the outer heels. In the hands is the mound on the opposite side of the thumb, underneath the little finger. The body, we have the pelvic region, inside of the legs to the knees, and in the forearms. So this area is your sacral chakra. And if the sacral chakra is about creation, and hands are about expression. So this is where your creation becomes shared with other people, with your gestures, right? Or maybe even with actions. If you're building something like a furniture or painting a painting or whatever. And then we have organs, glands, and nervous systems, the hypogastric plexus, genitals, ovaries, gonads, urinary tract, bowels, and lower intestine. And then, of course, with every single chakra, there's a little bit of confusion and a little bit of debate. which part of the intestine is governed by the sacral versus the solar plexus. We know that solar plexus is fire and sacral is water. So the bowels that turn to water so easily are governed by water, and the stomach that brings up fire into your chest is governed by fire, like heartburn. So there's all these connections, right? For sacral chakra, the sense is taste, which totally makes sense because inside of the mouth is governed by the sacral chakra. And even Carol, my mentor, says that the tongue is the penis. So everybody has a tongue, and that is their, self-confident penis. I don't know. And then function, emotional, sexual energy, and creativity. So it's sexuality, sensuality, and creativity mixed into one. At the beginning, when I was learning about it, it was kind of hard for me to envision something that's in charge of reproduction and sex, but at the same time creating an opera or, a painting. It's the same kind of thing. So that's a bit of a mind trip if you really think about that. And that brings us to the next chakra, the solar plexus chakra, Manipura. So this one is about identity, but not ego, like ego, yes, but not ego as in, oh, I'm better than you, but ego as in, I am confident and I stand strongly in my opinion or in myself. So the face is the nose, the feet are arch of the foot, the hands are the center of the palm, the body is the midsection, front and back, ankles, knees, and elbows. We've already talked about it. And the organs, glands, and nervous systems are liver, stomach, gallbladder, pancreas, and digestive system. You see how all of these things would be affected by fire? Because the element for the solar plexus are fire, right? And they even say the digestive fire, how well it works and all of this stuff. So you have all of this green language all throughout. Location, navel, color yellow, sense, sight, element, fire, function, power, control, freedom to be oneself, and career. So how you stand up in the world, who you are, and mantra sound me. And then we have the fourth chakra, which is the point of balance. There are 3 chakras below and 3 chakras above. So it's the center. This is the chakra that has your heart and allows you to process, feelings of love and compassion, not only to others, but towards yourself as well. So that's where all of your love and nurturing and caring and all that's in your heart chakra. Compassion, worthiness, commitment, balance, and self-love. And then in the face, it's the eyes. You know how they say the eyes are the window to the soul, but it's not just the eyes, it's the cheeks. We'll talk about the cheek. Well, actually, let's talk about the cheeks right now. I can stop the share and start it again. So the eyes are the heart chakra. The eyebrows are the throat chakra. So anything below the eyebrows is the heart chakra. And anything in the nose is solar plexus. So this whole part is solar plexus, right? But then there is a line here that makes like one part is solar. We know that the jaw, this jaw hinge, that's solar plexus. That's identical as the elbow and knee and all ankle, all of that stuff. This is also governed by solar plexus. So solar plexus line is somewhere from the nose to that jaw, but then where does it end at the top? Well, that depends on your cheeks. If your cheeks are really chubby and soft, like boobs, then the cheeks are like mine. The cheeks are governed by the heart chakra, right? But if the cheeks are like Travis's, all chiseled and stuff, then they're governed by the solar plexus, right? So the cheeks are very tricky, and I believe everybody's intelligent enough to learn about the cheeks early. We don't have to wait till masters to learn about cheeks. The line moves is different on everybody. You can't draw a diagram where it shows what the cheeks do, because it's all individual. So it depends on how much chiseling, how much hardness there is. Anything that's tight and hard and powerful, it would be solar plexus. Anything that's soft and nurturing is heart. So you can decide, you can look, and there could be also a mixture or combination that can also happen. Okay, back to the diagrams. Trying to share the right screen. All right. So the ball of the foot would be the heart chakra on the, so like that, if you think about it, when you walk, that's how you connect with the earth, is through the ball of your foot. So your heart chakra is touching the earth every time you walk. And body upper arms, front and back of the chest. And then organs, cardiac plexus, heart. Now watch cardiac plexus, because it's also going to be listed under throat chakra, because there's many different, like there's the Chinese tradition, and there's the Indian tradition, and there's the other traditions, and sometimes they change it. So what I've listed them under both, and what I believe is maybe cardiac plexus is affected both by the throat chakra and the heart chakra. Because think about how voice can affect your heart, how many people speak something or hear something, and then they have a heart attack, right? It is connected in some way. Maybe we just don't have the right explanation for it yet, but I believe that both are true. And it's just up to us to continue observing and figure it out how, right? And the mantra sound, location heart, color green, sense touch, element air. And some people say color green or pink is the heart chakra as well. That's also a thing. Element air, function, devotion, love, compassion, healing, and mantra sound fa. And that brings us to the next, so first of the upper chakras. So if you think about it, the lower chakras are more earthly. They have to do with physical things like water, earth, fire, things that are really, really physical. And then the heart chakra, the element air, you're starting to lift off the earth, right? It's not so physical anymore. This is the point of balance between the upper chakras and the lower chakras. And then you go to the fifth chakra, which is the first one of the ones above the heart, 3 below and 3 above. And here we have the element of ether. So it's not an earthly element at all. It's an element that's out there somewhere. So with the fifth chakra, the throat, we have the face, eyebrows, the feet, the base of the toes. So where the pad is underneath where the toes go in, that's where it is. Like in this section, well, it's the same in the hands. It's in the hands is this digit. But in the toes is just that space between the mound and the actual toe. The organs, the carotid plexus, larynx, thyroid, respiratory plexus, bronchial and vocal apparatus, and esophagus. And I know that a lot of people write esophagus with an E, but in Australia it's written with an O. So this is a nod to Herman, the founder of this. So the location, we have throat, color blue, sound hearing, that's the sense. Element is the ether or space. Well, ether, really. Function is speech or self-expression, and the mantra sound is soul. And then we have the intuition chakra, but I'll tell you that. Remind me to tell you that if I forget about the intuition. But so here we have the sixth chakra, the third eye. It's about the bigger picture, charisma, oneness, soul purpose, and awareness. So you're getting higher, closer towards your godlike aspect with each chakra going up. So this one is even more teaching, even more expansive, not on the earthly side, but on the etheric side. And the element is subatomic. So if you think about that. So then face, we have brow bone, observation lobe, the feet, pads of the toes, hands, second digit above the middle digit, above the knuckles, and pituitary plexus. Now pay attention to that one too, because that one's also going to be listed twice. We have pituitary here and pineal here, but also both of them are in, like maybe they're governed by the third eye or maybe by the crown. So there's also all sorts of conflicting information. So we're looking at it as both and or maybe. So then color is indigo, sense is the sixth sense, so intuition. It's element subatomic, and function, intuition, perception, individuality. And the last chakra in the 7 is the crown chakra, intellect, inspiration, divinity, presence, authority. So this one is from the hairline all the way to the top of the head and the back of the head, the tips of the toes, the top digit of the hands, the central nervous system, cranial plexus, upper brain, brainstem, and the pineal gland. And then location above the crown of the head, color violet, sense oneness, element atomic, function individual and universal consciousness, and mantra sound T. And here we have another lovely diagram of the chakras, which is just a different visual, a different way of looking at it. And that way you guys can, look at it from different directions and see what works with you best. But these are the chakras and their meanings.
You said to remind you about the intuition.
Right. So I went to this Hermetic school, and the way they explain the chakras is different than the Chinese and Indian tradition. You know how all throughout this manual and through these teachings, we'll be talking about energy traveling from the earth all the way through the chakras to the crown, and from the crown all the way through the chakras to the earth. And the Ida and Pingala, the two nadis, that's what they're called, moving energy up and down. But in the Hermetic tradition, they think of it as a spiral. They're thinking of it as a Fibonacci spiral that starts in the heart, and it goes down to the solar plexus, up to the throat, down to the sacral, up to the third eye, down to the root, up to the crown. In that way. So on this spiral, the heart is connected with the ego first, who I am and how I stand up in the world. And then through the voice, like if you think about it, how the human works, it's really interesting. So the energy comes from the heart. It goes through the ego, solar plexus, identity, sense of self, then goes through the throat, how I express myself. Then it goes to the sacral, which is the waters of creation. How am I going to express myself creatively? And then it goes to the third eye, the intuition. So the creation and intuition on the spiral are the two closest points to each other. Like they seem to be so far away in the linear way of understanding the chakras from top to bottom. But in this circular Fibonacci spiral way, they're actually neighbors. And so they work together. The intuition cannot be used without creativity, and the creativity cannot be used without intuition. They're very intertwined in this system. But if you think about it in reality, those two, intuition and creativity, are very, very intertwined like this as well. Right? So it's just the different ways of looking at it. And that's why I try to teach you guys every single way I found, so that you can take that and you can figure it out, what works for you and what way of thinking about it works best for you. Because I don't think it's matter. Like, I don't think the goal is to find, okay, this is the right way how chakras work. I found it. I have the answer. Everybody else is wrong. I don't think that's the goal of the exploration of the chakras. I think the goal is to find out how all the different people look at it and maybe learn something from it, draw some conclusions, dip your toe into it and see what it feels like, try it on for size and draw your own conclusions, as opposed to, deciding that this is the right way and someone else is wrong. Because everybody, yes, there are universal truths, but in reality, the way we live their lives, we understand energy and everything is very individual. And I think everybody can make their own decisions.
I appreciate that. Thank you for that explanation. Do you mind if I ask one more question on it? Or maybe you'll get into it later?
No, you can ask. I'll drink my tea.
Ooh, opportunity for beverage. Feminine versus masculine. Is that something that you've explored with the chakras? Like which one's which?
Coming up. It's the next chapter.
Okay. I'll be quiet. Or excited.
Okay, let me see. Oh, look, that's right here. It's the next section right there. You just asked it. So front versus back and left versus right. Let me show you this diagram. So when we're reading a body, we need to consider front versus back. Oh, okay, everybody, this is, hang on, before we do this. This is another thing. So front versus back. So we've already talked about this a little bit today. The front is how you meet the world. If you're standing in your power and your spine is aligned, you meet the world with your chest, with your heart chakra. But if you're all twisted and you're worried and you're protecting your heart, then your ego is what meets the world first, because you will be pulling your nose in the front, and your nose will be what meets the world. Versus when you're in your full power, your heart is what meets the world first. So that's one thing. And if you take your hand and you touch the front of your arm, if you're wearing short sleeves, I don't know if it's easy for people in this cold places, and then touch the back of your hand, the back of your arm, and feel if is the skin that feel different? Like, does it feel softer or smoother, or is there a difference between the front of your arm and the back of your arm? Right? So then you can see how front of your arm is about what, like, it's in the heart chakra, the upper arm, and it's about how you face the world, how you're facing reality. The back of your arm is how you're dealing with what happened in the past. So, like for me, the back of my arm seems a little more fuzzy, a little more hairy, and the front seems a little bit more like smooth and hairless. So maybe I need more sensitivity, because hair is like antenna, increased sensitivity. So when men put like hair on their face, right, that increases sensitivity in certain chakras, sacral, base. Maybe the reason why I feel like a little bit more fuzzy in the back of my arm is because I need increased sensitivity about the past, or about what things happened to me, or maybe there's protection, there's all these different things. We have to analyze everything. But just remember, you can't analyze one item. Like, you can't just look at the one finger and say, oh, I see this, therefore you are like this. Because it's like a puzzle. It's like a big, huge puzzle. Every piece, like the eyes, the little bit of puffiness under the eyes, every single bit in a person tells you a story about what they're thinking and how they're feeling. And one item cannot be taken out, because it would be like looking at that person one-dimensionally. Oh, you're like this and like that. Then in reality, they're a kaleidoscope of things. And only with the whole picture can you actually see what they really are. Oh, you're judgmental, but maybe you're judgmental because you're misunderstood and you're angry that nobody ever listens or cares about you, So back to the sharing of the screen. So here we have a little diagram. This one is from Carol's book, right side versus left side. So the right side of the body is the masculine, as we all know. And we know that the brain crisscrosses. So the right side of the brain is the left side in the body, and the left side of the brain is the right side of the body. And then it's on the right side, but everybody has the masculine and feminine inside them. And everybody's goal is to balance the masculine, feminine, and the inner child in order for them all to work together like a happy family, as opposed to fighting like someone who's about to get a divorce from themselves. So here we have right side of the body, rational mind. So that means calculating mind, analytical mind, objective, masculine, conscious, creative, physical, and ka, spirit. And then the left side of the body, we have the right hemisphere of the brain, the irrational mind. But the irrational mind, the original meaning, is knowledge gained through physical senses. So rational was thinking it out, and irrational was touching it. And it's interesting how our, English being the language of the oppressors, how there are so many words that actually changed meaning over time. And we can go deeper into that in one of the classes. Feminine aspect, unconscious, creative, spiritual, and the soul. So if you think about, I have a bigger. See, these are the wedding rings of your inner feminine and inner masculine, because they're married together and they're forever living together. But they need to live together in happy harmony, like a happy family, not fighting all the time. So this is a reminder to you guys. That's why I put wedding rings in the manual. There's one more diagram I want to show you. Okay. So here we have the feminine and the masculine energy a little bit more deep. So feminine is being and masculine is doing. Feminine is moon, dark, yin, water, left side of the body, passive, inward, circular, intuitive, free-flowing, empathy, sensual, sharing, receiving, nurture, creative, patience, sensitive, manifestation, ease, kindness, emotional, unconditional love, and surrender. I would actually put the manifestation with the inner child personally, but it's listed here. So, and then the masculine is doing sun, light, yang, fire, the right side of the human body, active, outward, linear, giving freedom, direction, stable, strong, willpower, driven, independent, disciplined, structured, protective, analytical, planning, confident, assertive, focused, certain, and courage. So when the masculine is out of balance, what you'll hear in your head is criticism, aggression, competitiveness, and being unstable, abuse of power, unsupportive, confrontational. So whenever you have that either inside or outside, that's an imbalance in the masculine. And when the feminine is imbalanced, then not balanced, out of balance, it's neediness, powerlessness, codependency, withholding, oversensitive, over-emotional, lack of direction, and inconsistency. And if you think about it, like if your body, like if you think about it being as a closed circuit, like a pump, right? So there's water pumping through a system, right? Your masculine is giving, your feminine is receiving. Yeah, I did that right. So your masculine is giving, so it's putting out the water, and then feminine is receiving. So in order to have a loop so that everything works, you need to give and receive, give and receive, give and receive. So if you're only taking and you're not giving, you're going to blow up with all that water like a balloon, and you're going to have stagnant emotional energy inside your body. You're not going to be able to react. You know about that, because like say somebody who just went through a big trauma, right? And you're like, hey, do you want milk in your coffee? And they're like, ooh, you know, like they're not reacting normally to things because there's all this watery energy in their body and they can't handle it. There's too much going on. So that's for trauma, because trauma, that's normal in trauma. And, you know, if somebody has a bad breakup or divorce, if somebody dies suddenly, you know, being overly sensitive and crying at the drop of a hat is absolutely normal at that time. But what about a person who is constantly taking and not giving and giving and giving, right? Their whole viewpoint will become imbalanced, and they will not be able to relate to other people on a normal level anymore. Or what about somebody who's giving and giving and giving and never taking anything back? Again, same thing. Their whole viewpoint will become imbalanced. They might become resentful. They might become angry. They might say, oh, it's your fault. You're taking advantage of me. But people generally are self-serving. And so if somebody has an advantage that can be taken of, people will step into that to take advantage. It's like a vacuum. You know, it's up to you to not allow other people to take advantage of you. It's up to you to stand up for yourself. It's up to you to maintain your energy. It's up to you to keep your inner masculine and inner feminine agreeing with each other and working together, right? It's not other person's issue. If the other person's like, oh, you're a stupid fool, that's nothing to do with you, right? And we have to really know and separate that from who we are. Because in this cancel culture society that we're living in, anybody can say anything and people freak out. Oh, no, you can't say this word and you can't say that word and you can't. And again, this is another opportunity for that responsibility, that sovereignty that you have within yourself to be given away to somebody else. And how many of these opportunities are every single day? You know, police officers, lawyers, doctors, nurses, teachers, you know, every single person, they trying to take your power away. No, I'll make a decision. I'm an expert. And that's why I'm like, hey, there's 7 different things that we can learn on this subject. You figure out what it is. I'm not a teacher. I'm just a conveyor of information. Maybe I'm the teacher, but I'm not a teacher like a top-down teacher. I'm more like a explorer, and we're exploring it together. We're going on this journey together. I've read 1,000 books, so I have some knowledge. I want to share it with you. But how you use that knowledge and your beliefs around that knowledge are not my business. I can't say, oh, you have to believe that the chakras. That's why I'm saying, yeah, the chakras either go in a line, up and down, or in a spiral. You tell me what you think. Okay, Tara, your camera's on. You tell me, which one do you think it is? Or is it both? Or this and that?
Thanks for putting me on. To be honest with you, what I would say is for each individual is to feel it into your body in that moment, and it may change from moment to moment depending on what you're going through.
Right? I really like the idea of bringing the energy up from the earth, bringing it through my root chakra and through my sacral, and then filtering it through my ego, and then filtering it through my heart, and bringing it up through my throat and expressing it to the world. I think that's a really cool way of looking at how energy travels. But when I think about the energy starting in my heart and moving to my solar plexus and then the throat, and moving to my sacral and then the third eye, and being expressed that way, it's so much more holistic. Right? It's so much more like I'm the catalyst of it. I'm not receiving it from the earth. I'm not downloading it from upstairs. It's coming from me, from my heart. So,
but you see, you're not downloading it from upstairs. So I would say I operate in the world through my heart. So the way that going in that way makes so much sense for the way that I perceive the world. But then at times, like when I'm in my own space and maybe I am experiencing information coming from this way, then it feels more like it's moving in a different direction in that sense.
Yeah, but this is the same conversation we could be having about like whether the pituitary is governed by the third eye or the crown, right? So one school says one thing. What if it's both? What if they're collaborating and we're the ones who want to have it everything black and white?
Yeah, maybe we want to separate them to try and make it simple, but it's simply more complex than that.
And when I read that thing about the cardiac plexus being governed by the throat chakra, and then thinking about like that movie scene where somebody receives a message and then falls down with a heart attack, seems to make sense. You know,
So
maybe it's not fully governing the cardiac plexus, but maybe has a huge influence on it. So what else do we have in this book? So I gave you some, what are they called? Affirmations. I gave you guys some affirmations for each chakra. This is just touching it super, super lightly, because when we go to so the way the classes are going to be structured in March, starting March 19th, we're going to go 4 weeks through each chakra, right? So we're going to start with the base. And the first class is going to be about the base chakra in the body. And then the second class is going to be a Q&A and integrating all that information. The third class will be the face chakra, or the base chakra in the face. And we're going to talk about that, how it looks, all the different photos and everything. And then the fourth class will be the Q&A. So that's how it's going to go with all chakras. So we're going to take 4 weeks per chakra. So it's going to go minimum for 7 months. I don't know how much. And then maybe we'll go into hands and feet if you guys want to do that. Because hands and feet are super complicated. The diagram for the hands is not just chakras in there. There are all the different energies and the knuckles and all sorts of stuff. There's all sorts of stuff. And then you can play a fun game if you cut yourself. Oh, which digit is that? Oh, I have to check. Oh, it's this finger and this thing. And that means ambition. Oh, shit. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. You know, it's interesting. Interesting.
I just want to say I'm loving absolutely everything about this and all of that, especially for the work that I do. It's just so amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm so glad. I'm really happy. And then you get to watch the replays that all came at once. So you signed up and you waited an hour and suddenly 7 emails came in, or like 5 emails came in? Yeah, that's how I figured it out. That's how I did that. Because I didn't want to have you guys wait, because it doesn't give me a 5-minute timer. If it gave me a 5-minute timer, I would go send the email, wait 5 minutes, send the email, wait 5 minutes, right? But it's like either an hour or nothing. And I don't want to make you guys wait 6 hours. So then you get all the replays all at once, hopefully in order.
will we be getting tonight's replay and manual automatically?
Yes.
Should I do something?
Like if you're signed up on my website through Own Your Body Language, right?
I did.
To that form,
Correct.
then on like probably not tomorrow. It's my birthday. Give me a break. But maybe Sunday. Maybe Sunday you'll get the replay.
Okay,
But-
excellent. Thank you. No, I'm really enjoying it too. So, no, fabulous information. And you know, I was going to make a request on that first chakra with the purple, you know, the one I just loved, um, where it shows the chakras
Okay, good.
around. Yeah, that one. Is it possible for you to send me that particular photo? Because I'd like to have it enlarged and framed. I do. I
I
have.
can. So that photo was from Back to Easy, and I can download you the like high resolution if you want to enlarge and frame it. Because that was 640 pixels or whatever, but I can get you a bigger one. Anyway, hang on, let me just check the manual to see if there's anything I've missed before we run away.
Thank you.
The body six balance, you guys can read that part. That's not really good. I talked about the silver and the gold coast. Oh, the last chapter. There comes a time in a freedom fighter's life where it's time to put away all of the podcasts and the books and start teaching your own message. And in order to be teaching your own message and be really, really effective in conveying information, you have to reintegrate all your energy and bring it back to yourself. You have to remember where you start or you end and another person starts, and not take their bullshit. You know, you have to be able to stand in your own power. And all these classes that I'm teaching, that's why it's called sovereign body language, to bring the energy back to you and help you stand within your power. So the last chapter, read it, because it's about that. It's about your being a freedom fighter. Yeah. That's it. Any questions before I turn off the recording?
I probably have tons of questions, but now that you've asked, brain is somewhat blank.
So then I'll turn off the recording and you'll ask all your questions. Is that how it's going to go?
Maybe. Would you like me to ask questions now? Because I don't mind being on the recording if it's helpful.
Yeah, you can ask questions. It's helpful. It's only helpful to the people watching the replay. Hi, people watching the replay.
Hi, future me. I'd like to add something. So in Hawaiian healing, the calf is known as the second heart. And so I thought that was really interesting that was on the diagram there. And a question I had was about the elbow, it was being the solar plexus. If you have a pain in your elbow, what would that mean? Like flexibility, is what I thought it was, but.
Okay, which elbow?
Left.
And on the inside or the outside?
Inside.
Okay. And okay, so left elbow. So that would be about your expression, how you express yourself in your professional way, but like your inner struggle with like wanting to do something like teaching or sharing or whatever, but like holding yourself back and having like the should I or shouldn't I kind of thing.
Oh.
That's kind of what I would point to me.
But
on the inside, you said it was on the inside. So it's an inner struggle, right? And it's not have to do with other people stopping you or not permitting you. You have permission. You do it. Everything is fine. It's just on the inside, you're holding yourself back a little bit.
Okay.
Is that true? That track?
I would say maybe I'm definitely stepping into my power more now than ever before. But I think maybe I was going a little slower than my future me wants to go.
Yeah. Or maybe too fast for your stagnant you.
Right. One or the other.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hi, Jennifer.
What about if all of your solar plexus joints pop?
But does it hurt?
No.
I don't know. Like if it just pops, but it doesn't hurt, I don't know if that would be significant. But you can observe it, and if you come up with a conclusion, you let me know. Because it's not a source of discomfort, and it's not stopping you, and it's not tripping you up in any way. It's just like a thing, right? So it's just like your vehicle, you know, how we say one person drives a Ferrari and the other person drives a Mack truck. It's just like an element of your vehicle. But you know, when maybe we'll have Carol here for one of these classes. We can pose that question to her and see if she has a different answer.
Because it has nothing to do with age, because it's been doing that since I was a young thing.
Did you used to be a sporty girl when you were a young thing, or did you used to be like a reading girl?
A reader.
See,
Definitely
I wonder
not sporty.
because my knees pop a little bit too, and I wonder if it's from like not like running around in the mountains, you know. But again, there's no pain, so whatever.
Yeah.
Does this
Can you
connect to German
Sorry.
medicine? Sorry.
I have not studied New German medicine, but from what I hear about it, I agree with most of it.
Okay, same. I'm kind of in that ballpark.
Jennifer, you were asking something.
Flat feet
Okay.
so that definitely affects your posture, right?
Yes, flat feet would affect your posture. And let me just pull up the diagram of the feet, because it's the solar plexus that normally is not touching the floor, but in flat feet, the solar plexus side will be touching. Yeah. So if you look at the foot, see, it's the solar plexus that's normally raised that is now touching the ground. So that's interesting, and I'm sure I can look in Herman's notes for like flat feet specifically. I don't remember anything specific about it, but it would be a difference that, you know, normally you're grounding your foot, you're touching your foot to the ground with your base and sacral and heart, but the solar plexus is raised above, right? And then, but in the flat feet, all of the chakras will be touching the ground. I scanned those charts, so I have them in my phone. Anything else? Go for it.
Yes, sorry. It was the way that you started it. It was something that's very new to me. I ended up getting like a rash on the back, which is something I never have any physical ailments on the back of my head, right that spot where things meet. And you said that that's where the eyes at the back of your head are. What do you take on that one? Because you said some things that I was starting to get to, but I think I was like freaked out about it. So
is it itchy?
Yes.
Is it red?
Yes.
So that'd be like irritation, frustration. And it's on the back of your head. So it's something about something you're putting behind that you don't really want to face, right? So because it's on the back of your head and it's in Akashic records, I would say something that happened to you in the past, you're struggling with dealing with. And I mean, yeah, we could get into that thing where it's maybe this lifetime, maybe other lifetime, but it's like the rash is in this lifetime. So I would say it's in this lifetime. But it's something, you know, something frustrating. So the interesting thing about rashes, if you guys ever have a rash, take a look at where the rash is located, and often with like where the line between chakras happens, that rash doesn't cross the line. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it goes 2 chakras or 3 chakras, but sometimes there's like a definite line and the rash will be above it. It's quite trippy to look at it.
Yeah, I'm super excited to check that out.
So the specific location. And what are you doing for your rash?
Tea tree oil actually has been really good, and like washing with like baking soda to try and bring the pH back. And I was going to use honey, but I haven't needed to do any of that stuff. It just seems to be subsiding.
Okay, good. My brain said lavender. I have really good like herbal intuition. kept saying lavender essential oil. So maybe try that.
Thank you. I'll write that down. That's why I asked about the German new medicine, because I don't know much about it, but they said something along the lines of sometimes symptoms show up to show you where you're out of balance and something can be done to bring it back in. And sometimes it shows up to show you that your body is now in the healing phase because you've already energetically moved through something. And that I love the concept of that, but I can never tell, like, how do you know?
So with this kind of rash and it being very itchy, I would consider, like, I would think back and maybe something that's emotional that really made you angry, like really pissed you off, that is that you maybe haven't fully dealt with, or maybe you turned a blind eye to it, like, oh, I don't want to deal with this. I'm just gonna forget that this happened.
Okay.
So think about that.
I'm going to have to think about that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Agni, I thank you so much for everything, and I need to go, but thank you, everyone. I
No
was
worries.
on Saturday, and I did send a little message about the title of your act. Okay, when you get a chance.
Yes, I did say I loved it. Thank you very much for the title.
Oh, you like it?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
that's true.
I'll use it. Thank
Nice.
you.
I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Oh, I am too. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, everyone. Until then, bye-bye.
All right. And thank you very much for everybody who's been watching this on replay. Thank you for your attention. We're going to stop the recording. Next meeting is on January 8th.